At WHBR, we love shining a spotlight on local churches and ministries. The one you're about to watch is a great example. If you enjoyed their program, please let them know. Their contact info will be on the screen. You can reach out on Facebook, send them a quick message, follow their page, hit like, comment, and share their videos with your friends. Your support makes a real difference. Thank you for sharing and enjoy the program.
I want to talk to you about authenticity. Sometimes we say, I'm fine, and our souls are fraying. I'm asking Christ to help us as a church to be free from our obsession with appearances. We want to appear to be what we really are, and we want to perfect a relationship with God that exudes authenticity and realness.
When life is broken and the past feels too heavy, there's a place where hope is reborn, where chains are broken through the power of Christ. Wings of Life is more than recovery. It's restoration, it's family, it's freedom. Wings of Life, restoring lives, rebuilding families.
Hi, my name is Marguerite Ruiz Jr. I'm 30 years old. I have a beautiful wife named Angela Ruiz, and I have 3 children. My daughter, who's the oldest, is Aaliyah. Then my middle son is Matthew, and then the youngest is Jacob Ruiz. So at a young age, I grew up at home with my father, my mother, a young brother, a young sister. I was the oldest of 3. And at the time, my father was an alcoholic, very abusive. And so growing up, I grew up with the father wound. And at 14 years old, I was a full-blown drug addict going to an alternative school here in Katy. I knew I needed money, and all I knew how to do was to sell drugs. I dropped out of school, got a GED, and started hustling in the streets. By the time I was 17, my daughter was born, had a job, and also hustled on the side. My understanding of being a man was that I had to support them financially. So I did that. I supported them financially, but I was not there physically, emotionally, spiritually. I was not a good father. Me and my wife were on the edge of divorce. I was very aggressive and vulgarly, physically.
When we met, we were inseparable. Like, we were always talking, we were always trying to see each other. And as time grew, we just became kind of toxic in a way. Like, we were very codependent on each other. A lot of jealousy. We would get loud with each other. When we would have fights or argue, like, it was intense. We would get in each other's faces and, just go back and forth with each other. Nobody would back down. I think we were having an argument in the living room. I can't remember what it was about, but we sent the kids upstairs and we were arguing, and he pulled out a gun in the middle of the argument, and I just looked at it, I was like, oh, that's where we're at right now. And he just set it down on the table. I don't know if it was a tactic to scare me, but it didn't work. But I was just like, this is just too much.
I believe that I got to a place where we were needing something greater in our lives. I had already threatened my wife's life. I had caught cases here in Harris County, so I was fighting some felony cases that could have sent me to prison for a long time.
So I was reaching out to our mentors, and we needed help. And they brought up the Wings of Life. And when that happened, it was probably on the table for a good 3 months before eventually he just kept slipping. And I'm like, I can't do this. I had to leave my house. I texted my mentor. I told her, I need to leave. And when I did, I packed my bags and I left for about a week. And I did not answer any phone calls from him or anything. It needed to be that way. I knew I couldn't enable it anymore to where he knew he can pull me back in, because he could pull me back in. I loved him so much that all I wanted to do was just be there for him. And I did. I left. And after, I think it was 4 days in, I get a text message from Pastor Roger, and he said that my husband reached out to him and told him that he'll go to the Wings.
I ended up asking for help after being suicidal, homicidal, and I made a decision and said, Lord, I'm going all in. I don't know what that looks like, but I trust in you. Pastor Brandon Sanders opened the door. He had gone through the program himself, and he encouraged me and empowered me and helped me make the decision to say yes. And God began to use the Wings of Life for my benefit And not only just for my benefit, but to benefit my family, my wife, my children, and all the people around me. I went through the program, 90 days. I had 4 services a day, and I came home on fire for God. So yes, the Lord used the Wings of Life to restore my family. The Lord used the Wings of Life to restore my home. He used the Wings of Life to restore the life that God intended for myself. Since coming home from the Wings of Life, I've been gifted with the ability to preach and teach and minister to men, restoring families. I've been gifted with the ability to help host a life group and also to help Pastor Roger lead the recovery group that started the process of getting us connected to the Wings of Life. So I just want to give thanks to the Wings of Life, all the ministers and the servants that are there, giving their time and supporting us. I thank you, Pastor Brandon Sanders and your wife, Miss Carrie, for opening the door and making an available opportunity for me to come to the Wings of Life and to receive healing and to restore the life that God intended for myself, my wife, and for my children. It's been an amazing ride. We love y'all so much, and we just thank you for everything you're doing and everything you're going to continue to do.
Just thank you. I mean, I have my husband back. I have my best friend. I love everything that you guys stand for. Thank you, Pastor Brandon. Thank you, Miss Carrie, for nurturing us through this. And I think all of the ministers that have gone through this program as well and are now pouring into other people who walk through those doors. It is an amazing place. Just thank you, Wings of Life.
I want to talk to you today, continuing our series from Matthew chapter 5 through 8, which is known as the Sermon on the Mount. I want to talk to you about authenticity, the quality of being genuine, the freedom that comes from being delivered from pretense, pretending. And how can we live an authentic Christian life? One of the things, it comes up almost in every poll that's taken by people who do not go to church. Why don't you go to church? You know what one of the things they say is? They're hypocrites. You can change that to everybody you touch and meet with authenticity. Here's how chapter 6 begins. Be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. There's a battle in my life, and I'm sure it's in your life. There's a battle for authenticity, to be real. There's falseness. I purport to be something I'm not. That has to be exorcised. You know what exorcism is? Exorcised from our lives. Cast it out, God. This falseness, this duplicity, being a double-minded person, being one thing at home and another thing at church, or one thing at work and another thing in church. I have to confess, and I think it's true of you, but you have to confess it yourself, that we all wear masks. We put them on so we can appear better than we are. Look at me. I'm a great person. I'm a great Christian. I haven't failed at all this week. I'm on the top of the world and doing well. I wear the mask sometime of perfection. You? Do you? I'm fine. People ask you, how are you? I'm fine. That's a lie, isn't it? Sometimes we say, I'm fine, and our souls are fraying. I'm not suggesting that everybody who asks you if you're fine, you tell them about your soul situation. I'm not suggesting that. Some people do not have the right to know because they're not the right people. But you need somebody to confess to. I'm asking Christ to help us as a church to be free from our obsession with appearances. We want to appear to be what we really are, and we want to perfect a relationship with God that exudes authenticity and realness. Jesus calls us to authenticity in Matthew 5 through 8. If you had only the 3 chapters of Matthew 5 through 7, that's all you had, and you fixated on that, your life would represent and embody and be a likeness. You would be a likeness of Jesus Christ. Because it's His blueprint. It's the blueprint for your life. But the purpose of Matthew 5 and 7, Jesus is revealing to you what He wants, the way He wants you to think. He's calling us to truth. And in this sermon, He wars against hypocrisy, against inauthentic religion and pretense. He appeals for transformation, not confirmation. I believe that our society is craving realness. I believe they want real, not only in products, but in people. They want a real person. They want a real church. Jesus says, I know how to get it, and I can give it to you. People everywhere are weary of pretend faith, pretend churches. Someone has said there would be a lot more Christians if there weren't so many who said they were one. Empty religion, curated spirituality, an image, obsession with our image. Unless Jesus said in chapter 5, we've been in that and we talked about this verse, unless your righteousness is greater than all these religious people around me, in the scribes and the Pharisees, the aristocracy of the temple, unless your righteousness is greater than this, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. The church, and especially pretentious churches, are not the door to heaven. Jesus is. And that verse I just read for you, be careful not to practice your faith for image. In front of others, to be seen by them. Authenticity then begins where? In the heart. Inside you. You have to pay the price for that. The Beatitudes that start chapter 5, that's the blueprint right there. Blessed are the good-looking. Blessed are the people that got it together. Blessed are the fill in the blank. No, he didn't say. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. I think I have been changed again in these few weeks that I've been talking to you. My life has been drawn closer to Christ by just studying Matthew 5 through 8. I want to be more meek, more merciful, more honest. I want to be pure in heart. That's why I come to church. We have a catechesis here. Catechesis is a curriculum for development of your soul. Okay? That's what catechesis is. It's a training for your soul and your mind. And we have a catechesis in this church, and it's called the Jesus Life. All of life is sacred. Your home is sacred. You can do Mass at home. You can do Holy Communion at home. I encourage you to do it with your family, but make it a holy thing, because Christ will come. He uses these means of grace to come into our families, into our church. Now, here's the idea. The idea is to take all 6 traditions and blend them into one church. That we value contemplation, we value holiness, we value the charismatic tradition, we value evangelism, we value social justice, and we value the incarnational tradition, the Eucharist, the gift of Christ's body and blood. We get our strength from Him. Now you see, it's easier said than done to build a church with all of these and have appreciation, and to stay out of the weeds, and to stay away from the risks that are involved in all of them. Now, I just want to, in the few minutes I have left, I want to talk to you about the antidote, the secret antidote to pretense. How can I avoid it? How do I avoid pretense? How do I avoid hypocrisy? What is the way to build habits into my life and in your life that will help you be an authentic person? I'm going to suggest 3. The first one is generosity. It's the passion to become a generous person. Listen to the words from chapter 6, verses 1 through 4. Be especially careful when you are trying to be good. And I'm reading, by the way, from the Message translation or version, because I think it really speaks a very real, very earthy kind of, in an earthy kind of way. Be especially careful when you're trying to be good so that you don't make a performance out of it. It might be good theater, but the God who made you won't be applauding. When you do something for someone else, don't call attention to yourself. You've seen them in action, I'm sure. Play actors, I call them, treating prayer meeting and street corner alike as a stage. Acting compassionate as long as someone is watching, playing the crowd. They get applause. That's true, but that's all they get. These are Jesus' words, by the way. They play to the crowd, and that's all they're going to get is the applause of the crowd. When you help someone, don't think about how it looks. Just do it quietly and unobtrusively. That's the way your God, who conceived you in love, is working behind the scenes with you. He's helping you out the same way. That's a spirit. That whole text represents a spirit of generosity. When you become a generous person, the pretense falls off. True generosity flowing from our hearts of worship. And you don't need recognition? No? You don't need your name in lights or engraved in stone? No, because you just have a spirit of giving and generosity. Again, let me say, giving is about you, not about the person you're given to, or about the need to give, or the church who needs it. It's about becoming the person God wants you to be. And you cannot become the person God wants you to be without generosity. Second, intimacy. Intimacy is a praying life. Listen to the words. When you come before God, these are Jesus' words, chapter 6, don't turn that into a theatrical production. All these people making a regular show out of their prayers, hoping for 15 minutes of fame. Do you think God sits in a box seat? Here is what I want you to do. Find a quiet, secluded place so you won't be tempted to role play before God. Just be there as simply and honestly as you can manage. And the focus will shift from you to God, and you will begin to sense His grace. You will become intimate with Him. The world of so-called prayer warriors who are prayer ignorant, they're full of formulas and programs and advice and peddling techniques for getting what you want from God. Don't fall for that nonsense. This is your Father you're dealing with, and He knows better than you what you need. With a God like this loving you, you can simply pray like this. And Brandon did a great job of talking to us last week about this prayer. It's an authentic prayer. Our Father in heaven, this is putting the words a little different. Our Father in heaven, reveal who you are. Set the world right. Your kingdom is supposed to set it right. Do what's best as above, so below. Keep us alive with the meals we eat, but keep us forgiven with you and forgiving others. Keep us safe from ourselves and from Satan, from the devil, because you're in charge. You can do anything you want. You're ablaze in beauty. Yes, yes, yes. That's a prayer. That's an automatic usher into His presence when you pray like that. Tell Him, you're ablaze. You can do anything you want. I want to be delivered from myself and from the devil. Verses 14 and 15 of chapter 6 say this: your prayer is a connection between what God does and what you do. When you pray and how you pray determines how intimate you are with God and how God is going to respond to you. You believe me? Listen to this. You can't get forgiveness from God, for instance, without also forgiving others. If you refuse to do your part, you cut yourself off from God's part. So when you pray, He said, this chapter again, shut the door. Shut the door. The proverbial door or the literal door. Shut it. Put other people out and pray in secret to the God, Father who's unseen. And when you're in the secret place of intimacy, the infinite becomes intimate. The last thing I want you to know is this. This is an antidote to fakeness. Don't be fake. And the way to not be fake is discipline. It comes right out of the Scripture. Listen to these verses in 16 and 18. When you practice some appetite-denying discipline to better concentrate on God, don't make a production out of it. It might turn you into a small-time celebrity, but it won't make you a saint. If you go into training inwardly, act normal outwardly. Shampoo and comb your hair and brush your teeth and wash your face. God doesn't require attention-getting devices. He won't overlook what you're doing. He will reward you well. Generosity. When you give in secret, you give powerfully, and it changes who you are. Intimacy, when you walk in the secret place of the Most High, the shadow of God is over your life. He surrounds you. Power of the Almighty is with you because you're intimate with God. You're on a first-name basis with God. And when you discipline your body to say, everything in my life, every passion, every appetite, everything I love is going to take a second place to the one love, the one thing. We had a talk yesterday by G.F. Watkins about the one thing. What's the one thing? You should be able to identify that. What's the one thing? Seek first the kingdom. The J, put Jesus first. Everything else plays second fiddle. So, how do we take the mask off? Take the mask off. We have a basket back there today to put your mask in. It's an invisible basket. See it? You just put your mask in there when you go out the door. And you say, from now on, I'm going to live authentically before God and others. I want to look good, but I want to be honest more than anything. So here's the steps of how to take off the mask. Number one, recognize you're wearing a mask. You can't take it off if you don't think you have one. Before you remove the mask, realize you've got one. Search me, O God, Psalms 139, David said, and know my heart. Search me, test me, know my thoughts. You know what? This is true for me. You try it on for size. I deceive myself more than I deceive you. Recognize you have a mask. Second, and this is a big one, it's embrace brokenness. Every person in this room is broken, but we don't acknowledge it. But when the mask begins to crack, we try to glue it back together, and that's the wrong thing to do. Just embrace the brokenness. I'm hurting. My life is kind of tattered, and I need to get on my knees and pray. I need the strength of the Almighty. I need to work on my heart. And you know what? I've discovered this. It's a secret of the Christian life. God works most in brokenness. Blessed are the poor in spirit, not the rich, not the people who are doing well. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Embrace grace. Realize how fortunate you are to have God love you. He loves your mess. He's loved you in your darkness. He's loved you in your rebellion. He's loved you in your unforgiveness and your hatred and your nastiness. He's loved you in your putrid life. He loves you. And there's nothing you can do about it because He loves you. Rediscover Him and rediscover grace.
If you enjoy watching this program on WHBR, please let us know. At Wings of Life, we believe in the power of Christ to restore lives, reunite families, and break the chains of addiction. If you or someone you love is seeking hope, healing, and a fresh start, we're here for you. Visit us online to learn more. Wings of Life, restoring lives, rebuilding families.
Thank you for watching and supporting the local churches and ministries that we broadcast here on WHBR. As always, we'd love for you to connect with them. Let them know you've enjoyed their program. You can call, email, or connect with them on Facebook, follow their page, comment. And if you'd like your church to be a part of WHBR, feel free to call us or email us or message us on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you because our mission is to help you fulfill your mission.